You obviously spent a lot of time at Marshall. What are your thoughts on heading back there this weekend?
I had to get a lot of tickets. You spend 9 years there. Basically my girls grew up in Huntington, and Huntington's a special place. Their football team has a story nobody else has, and that's special. And the thing that's special about Huntington is just the people. It's a great community. Everyone's about, Marshall Thunder and Herd football, and you feel it on a daily basis there.
When you were there, just a couple of times I remember when Tech was going over here to play, it always seemed like a big deal for Marshall. And they also seemed very gracious a lot of times. I would hear from the fans saying that it was a great experience even for the Tech fans over there.
Yeah, I haven't experienced. When I was there, we played Tech here twice, and I wasn't on the Marshall staff when Tech went to Marshall the other time. But it's very close proximity. We recruit the same areas. The coaches, we're all familiar with one another. Coach Huff has coached with guys on our staff, and he's done a great job with them last year, winning 9 wins. And I coached with Bill Legg, who's on his staff now, and I know a bunch of those guys. And I recruited and coached some of the guys on the team. So it's just some intimate relationships that are going to be cool to just rekindle this weekend.
How would you evaluate your group 3 games in so far?
Solid, not over the top, not disappointed in any way. We need to make more splash plays. We need to be more disruptive. We need to do our part. I know the answer is never to do less, so we have to do more. We missed some sacks. We left some TFLs out there, and maybe, we make 1 or 2 of those plays, and maybe the games, we lost, go a different direction. So you always look inward when things aren't going well, and that's all we can do is just come out here and work every day. And like I said, doing less is not an option.
I know the team rushing defense is an 11-man thing on defense. How do you view that as a defense where teams have been getting some yards with you guys this year?
Just got to do more. We got to fit it better. We got to get more knockback and more disruption from the D-line. It all works together. What I tell the D-line all the time is nobody in the stands knows if they did their job or not. Because there's still 2 more levels of the defense. So, everybody has to be held accountable. All 11 people have to be in the right spot, and it's not just one group out there that's not stopping the run. It's all of us, and we're continuing to preach that we got to be in the right spots and get there with a bad attitude.
You've been able to rotate 9 to 10 guys on a weekly basis. How good is that developing the depth, and are you happy with the upperclassmen that you have in there setting an example?
Yeah, I think anytime you can play 9 or 10 guys and there's not a drop-off, then that just helps your team, and it allows them to play harder. I was raised by Bud Foster and Phil Amation and those guys, Todd Grantham, when I played, that you play less plays and you can be more productive because you can go harder. You chase the ball down the field. There's plays to be made all over the place, but you got to be willing to lay your heart on the line and strain and go chase the ball and make those plays. And you can't do it if you're a D tackle and it's the 8th play of the drive and you haven't come out yet. So you can be in the best condition of your life. I tell the kids all the time, in my opinion, D-line is the most physical, demanding spot in all sports. Nowhere else do you lean on 600 pounds of people, then you got to go turn and run 40 yards. So that's not easy to do physically. So the more people you can play, I think the more productive, you can be more productive by playing less snaps.
Is there someone that you've seen had the biggest, had a good growth over these first 3 weeks on the line?
I tell you, the guy who's really come on is Willie Panay. He's coming into his body. He battled some injuries in the spring and in the off season, and now he's back healthy. And you can see what drew him, why he got recruited as a tight end, his athletic ability and some plays that he's making. And now he's back healthy and he's doing a much better job holding the point. He's probably been the biggest surprise and made the biggest jump from where he started to now.
You've known CJ for a long time. Where have you seen him grow the most?
Just maturity, and that's what's the great part about this job is you take 18-year-old, 17-year-old freshmen, and if you're around long enough, you get to watch them grow into mature men, and that's what CJ's doing. Maturity-wise, he's locked in more. He concentrates at a higher level than he ever has. He's developed his body, and I know he didn't think he'd be a D lineman, but I knew he would be the whole time.
You talked about the importance of pass rush, TFL, sacks. Marshall hasn't given up a sack this year.
Oh, really?
And Charles Huff earlier this week said, you're going 9, 10 deep on the offensive line because they're trying to find a combination.
Yeah.
How important is the pass rush going to be Saturday for your group?
Yeah, it is every week. You have to disrupt the decision maker, and that's getting around the quarterback. And it's not just sacks. It's hurries, it's rushes, it's tip balls, it's him feeling your presence, and they're really good up front. They're big. They're probably as good as they've been in a long time up front. I mean, they're just enormous guys, and they're doing a much better job this year of moving their feet. And I don't know if you noticed, the quarterback's kind of hard to tackle. So.
What was it about McCray that you knew he'd be a D lineman the whole time?
When he first came to Marshall, the width of his shoulders, his body type is what, at the time, is what we really looked for at Marshall. At the time at Marshall, we were kind of playing with a bigger guy at the field end and a linebacker hybrid guy at the boundary. So we were looking for guys that had linebacker traits and linebacker abilities to cover, to rush, to hold up in the run game. And watching his high school film, he played outside linebacker. And the defense that we ran in Marshall at the time, our boundary defensive end was basically an outside linebacker.
I know pass rushing was, winning one-on-one battles was a big goal coming into the season.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like you guys have rushed the passer? Have you been pleased through 3 weeks what you guys have been able to do?
I would probably give us about a C+, B-, depending. Some guys are doing better than others. We're going to consistently get on edges and get ourselves in position to rush the passer. You can't just rush the passer every down. Teams are running the ball more on third down. Marshall's going to do that. Marshall's going to run the ball on third down. 3rd and 8, if you're in a light box or something, they're going to run the ball. I think tempo comes into play. Teams running tempo hurts your pass rush, but it's just the same thing. I mean, the guys who need to win at a high level need to win at the high level, and then the guys who need to pick up the crumbs off of that need to do that.
Has APR been what you expect? What do you
Oh,
expect
yeah.
you to be?
Yeah, of course. Not disappointed in APR at all. He's done a great job. He's been disruptive. I wish he could have finished a couple plays last week, but once again, that quarterback's athletic. Nobody plays with flagpoles anymore. Everybody seems like everybody has quarterbacks that can run around, and that makes sacks difficult. Not only you have to beat the guy, then you got to corral the rabbit, as we say here. You got to chase the guy around, and so it's become hard to get sacks, but at the same time, you got to be able to produce.